and that was like my prized possession. And finally, like I was in a booth and I was rapping and I was just like, this is surreal.
Hello,
Yeah.
everyone. My name is Ben Oigo. This is my podcast, New Music Muse. On this podcast, I'll be talking to different independent artists of different genres and varieties. This is episode 1. I want to welcome my guest, Aqua. Now, first question I have for you: how did you come up with that name? Because it's really unique, and I really fuck with it. I think it's really dope.
Thank you. Yeah. One day my cousin was over at my house and he was like, what do you want your stage name to be? And so I started thinking about it, and I was thinking about a bunch of different names and I couldn't decide on anything. And I actually collect crystals. So I turned around and I looked at my crystal shelf and I saw Aqua Quartz and I was like, Aqua, like that's it. And
Yeah,
since
that's
then,
dope. I fuck with
thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, like crystals, they got they definitely have like a type of energy, so you probably like drawn to it or something. And you're like,
Exactly. Yeah. And
that's it.
the way that Aqua Quartz is formed is actually really cool because it takes like a lot of high heat and a lot of pressure to form it. And I feel like that really speaks for like the way that I've developed as an artist. So I think it fit really well.
Yeah, for sure. Like honestly, like I've been listening to your new album, DID. Also, can you tell us how you got the title for your album, DID?
Yeah, 100%. It's called DID stands for dissociative identity disorder, which is like multiple personality disorder. And I was just trying to display that not only like the drastic difference between each song, genre wise and sound wise, but also between every album that I've had so far and every project. It's all been coming from like a completely different part of my head. It's all like the same message, but it just shows like how I'm developing as an artist and like the different sounds that are contained within me and like my multiple personalities when it comes to artistry and music.
I think that's so cool because, a lot of artists are scared to go out of their, comfort zone with the music that they're used to making. And a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times, like, you'll see an artist make an experimental album and, like, their fans will, like, totally shit on it. Like, Childish Gambino, for
Yeah.
example. Like,
Ooh,
and
yeah. He got it bad.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
but I think that that's incredible for you as an artist to like not be confined to one genre. And I was considering your music to be very experimental. Like when I was
Yeah, it
listening
is.
to it, won't even bother. For example, when I heard that song, I was like, yeah, like fucking like he's going fucking gangsta on this, and then all of a sudden like
Yeah.
there's this beat switch, and you're like
Yeah.
you're emo now, and I'm like, wait, he got me in my feels. Wait, hold up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like,
It was definitely that song was actually inspired. I was driving one day. I used to deliver pizza and shit. I'm driving one day and I'm listening to the radio because it wasn't my car. It wasn't a car I had an aux in. And all of a sudden one song's playing and then static cuts in. And then it just goes to a whole different song, like a whole different song. And I was just like, what if I just did that, like which is usually an accident, and just did it on purpose and just try to do that with this song. It's cool because I get to start off with like it starts off, you're like, oh, okay, this is just like another Jack rap song, like you said. And then next thing you know, it's just like a whole different vibe. And you're like, wait, what?
yeah,
So yeah, it's really about telling a story and also just like painting pictures in people's heads. Cause like that's one of the things for me. I don't like really I'm not drawn to music unless it paints a picture that I enjoy in my head.
100%. Yeah. I
Yeah.
also totally agree with that because, like, when I'm listening to music, I want a story. I don't want to, like, hear some surface level shit. I don't think your music is surface level at all. And I've been listening to your song On Top of the World a lot. I really like that one. It gives me a lot of like 90s feels. It just made me kind of feel like, cruising, like
Hell
literally
yeah.
cruising in a car. What's a lyric that you find most relatable to something in your life, like that you've written? Like, what's a lyric from this album, like, that really like sticks to your like existence?
I would say Fade Away is the most like vulnerable song for me. And not only is it my favorite song on the album, I think it's like the best song I've ever made easily. But Fade Away, like if you really listen to that opening verse, it's kind of fast and it's kind of like I kind of wanted to combine like a jazz pickup with like a hyper pop beat, and I wanted to do like almost a jazz pickup with my voice over this hyper pop beat and let it build up and then go into like a new like almost pop punk hyper pop style chorus just to like show people that like the theory is still there and my dedication to music itself is still there, but also like even like the first words of that song, like promise me it's gonna be okay, had to relocate, I needed my fucking space. Like it's all about just like me like doing things for myself and like me being vulnerable and needing help. And it's just that's definitely the most like me song on the album, and the chorus alone totally speaks for itself.
So you would definitely say like that's a song like that you're most proud of on the album?
Yeah, like out of my entire career, that song is like one of the songs where I'm like, all right, yeah, like I know I'm just starting off, but this is the ones that is going to be forever one of my favorites.
Quality of the production on your album was phenomenal, and your flows are crazy. And I think like a lot of the times like people aren't able to get the quality of like lyrics and production together, because they're either too focused on one, and sometimes you need an emphasis on lyrics and sometimes you need an emphasis on production. All depends on the song. I also really like your song Float. That one I was
Thank you.
vibing to.
Yeah, that's a favorite too.
So what would you say are some artists that inspire you, influence, your style of music?
I mean, I would have to start with my wrist tattoo. This is the graduation bear from Kanye's album,
Oh,
wearing an MF Doom mask. So there's two inspirations. I'm wearing a Mac Miller shirt.
Mac Miller, wow.
Yeah, Joey Badass. Breakins was a huge inspiration on this album. I love Breakins. Wubs. My friend Chris, actually, his artist name is Lil Lugosi. If it weren't for him, like this album, like if it weren't for like, like Rob Kowalski, Pete Fensky, Pat Walsh, like everybody at DUMLET, this album production wise wouldn't be where it is. But like so much of the inspiration came through me meeting Chris, through me like meeting Lugosi and just sitting down and talking. Like he showed me so much music and so many different genres and subgenres I've never fucking heard of. Him, my friend Connor Law, like it's just like as much as like there's these big artists that inspire me, like if it weren't for my close friends, like who also make music and who put me onto shit every single day and who motivate the fuck out of me, like they almost inspire me more than like these big artists do. Because as much as I want to like I love the sound of these big artists, like I want to make music that like my friends enjoy and that I enjoy, and like it's really like something I do for me and my close circle, and it just happens to be something that gets recognition, and it's something that's really really interesting and fun for me. Hi mom. That was my mom.
Hey, mom. So, um, so yeah, no, that's really amazing. I think a lot of people get caught up in the numbers and they get caught up in like, oh, where is my music gonna take me? Like, and they're just so focused on the future of like where their music is gonna go. But I love your perspective on how like you make this for your friends, because that's really amazing. Like you're listening to your own music with your friends and they're vibing. Like that's a different type of confidence and motivation. And
Yeah.
like you're so lucky that you have that support system, and I'm happy for you that you do.
Thank you.
And I love your taste, by the way.
Thank you.
Kanye, like I would say Kanye is one of the most experimental artists like in the industry. Does not give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah,
Also,
dude. I mean, the GOAT.
and
GOAT.
Mac Miller too. Like, wow, yeah. And also, like, I think a lot of people slept on Mac Miller's first album, Kids. I think a lot of people slept on it, and like now they're listening to it and they're like, wait, he was fire back then before he was depressed. Wait.
Yeah, I mean, a huge thing about Mac is you could see like he only not only developed as an artist, he developed as a human throughout his career, and that development was so apparent both as an artist and as a human. And we got to like when you get so big at such a young age and everything that you do is in the public eye, it's like it affects everybody differently. And Mac was one of those people who was so good at handling it for such a long period of time, and eventually it's like you get so used to it, it's just like it's hard to maintain like sanity almost, when it's like, all right,
Yeah.
everything I do, like I can't even take a piss without somebody wanting a picture. Like it's insane. And like I feel for Max so much, even just listening to his last two albums, especially like when he was
Yeah,
like
for sure.
just in his feels, and he just like finally showed people like, yo, like it's not always just fucking unicorns and rainbows, like shit gets rough. And that
Yeah.
was like a huge thing for me, like when I heard Swimming, like it's like I almost cry every time I hear that project. It's fucking gorgeous,
Yeah.
flawless project.
I definitely agree. That's probably my favorite album from him. And
Yeah,
I think also like even before like Thoughts from a Balcony, like that song makes you really think.
yeah.
Like
Faces
under
was great.
yeah, really
Yeah.
really great stuff. Um
Hmm.
so like getting on to like your influences, artists, moving on from
Yeah.
that, what would you say is like who would you say is your dream collab like now?
Either Joey Badass or Breakins at the current moment. If I could get on a song with like Joey especially,
Yeah,
I've been listening to Joey forever. Um and I've been listening to Issa Gold, who's on my recent albums, like since before I was even listening to Joey Badass. I was listening to him when I was like 16 years old, like
wow, that's
smoking in the
crazy.
woods with my friends. Like somebody showed me him and I was just like, who the fuck is this? And I've been listening to him. And I remember one day I rapped for him at this venue in New York. It's called SOBs. And I was like, one day I'm gonna get on a song with you. And he was like, all right, we'll see. And then I got him on the album, and it's just like surreal seeing the footage and like the pictures of my reactions from meeting him that night to now, where it's like I can FaceTime the guy, I can fucking text him like whenever I want. Like he's great dude, super fucking chill, like all around just like blast to work with that guy.
That's like crazy when someone that you kind of, idolize in a way becomes like your friend. Like I've
Yeah.
been thinking about that. Like the music industry is so weird in that like once you like kind of break in and you like talk to other artists, you're like the starstruckness like kind of like fades away a little bit, but you're
Hmm.
also like the glimmer is still there. Like wow, like this person's like
Yeah.
really fucking talented. Like, and I'm actually their friend. So I think that's really dope that you got to work with him. So with that track, like how did that come to be?
I got him and I got Mick Jenkins both on a song the same way. Just, hit him with a DM like, yo, like I love your shit. Like I want to collaborate, like no matter what, really. Like I have to like remember that these are people that they're big people and they don't do shit for free. So it's like you gotta go in, you gotta be willing to make certain sacrifices when it comes to money, when it comes to time. It's all
Yeah,
about patience, really. If you wanna feature from anybody, all it takes is patience, kind words, and whatever they ask for in exchange for their artistry, because that's super important that you both are satisfied at the end of the day.
I found out about you through your girlfriend Bella, and it's funny because I reached out to her. Like I saw her on TikTok. She came up on my For You, and I
Yeah.
recognized someone that she had photographed. And by the way, amazing photographer. Um,
Yeah.
Props to her. And she took some photos of me, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden, like she became brand photographer for DUMLET.
DUMLET.
And
Yeah.
then I started seeing her post about you, and then she kind of put me onto your music, and I was like, wow, this guy's like insanely talented. I have to get to know him.
There's so much that she has done for me in the short period of knowing her. It's like it feels like I've known her for like 20 years. She has done so much for me and just like helping my career, like just motivating me in ways that I never was motivated, just like pointing me in the right direction. And it's like honestly insane. The tail end of this album and like after it's been dropping, like all the promotion leading up to like the drop, all that shit, like she's helped me with so much in so little time, and I am extremely grateful for her and like every second we spend together.
I love to see that support. Like it really is all about support. When
Hmm.
you're trying to follow your dreams, and when you have that, like it's really unreal. She took the picture for the cover art DID,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah,
So
she did.
did you design the art?
I did. Yeah, I do all my own cover art.
Wow, it really looks sick. Like it's really
Thank you.
cool. Like on the album it says uh Aqua's sophomore album. And I
Yeah.
noticed on Spotify, like you have, looks like you have 3 albums. So can you
Yeah.
explain like why it says that?
For me, it was more like I felt like Mind Race in cyberspace to me was like graduating 8th grade, because graduating 8th grade is still super important on its own, and it's still like it's still your moment.
Was that when you
You're
made
still
that album?
no, but it's like I made that. I mean, I started writing it probably like 8th grade to freshman year, and then started recording it later on. But musically, like that would have technically been my freshman album, but the amount of development that had occurred between that and The Edge of Forever, it was like that was like me graduating 8th grade. The Edge of Forever was like, yo, I'm a freshman now, like I'm in this shit. And then this album is like, yo, I'm a sophomore. I'm getting comfortable, like I'm learning the hallways, like I'm finding, like, you know what I mean? I'm entering new clubs, like I'm doing like, so it's like it's just more about my comfort and like the way that they have not only been treated by the people but by me, in the sense of like, yo, like uh Mind Race in Cyberspace, super experimental, a lot of songs on there that I just threw on there because I had them, but now I'm starting to refine it and just grind it down and like polish every single album and make sure it's perfect. And so far Did has been like the crazy, like I have gotten so many opportunities in the past like 3 days since that album has dropped. It's like genuinely blowing my mind. Like I've never gotten this much love. I have never had people like been so excited to hear shit. Cause like usually when I'll send people an album, they won't even open the Snapchat for like, you know, like a few weeks, because it's like, oh, it's just Jackie's probably just promoting another song. But then like when I get that, when people open it and like weeks later, they're like, holy shit, I don't know why I don't open these. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so much love has been coming out of this album, and like I'm so grateful to both you and everybody who's been supporting, because without this album I don't think we would even be talking right now.
It's super dope. And I think like a lot of artists kind of have those experimental albums, before when they're starting out, like,
Mm-hmm.
they have like their mixtape. I think that's a really cool way to put it, how your style has developed through this album.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is like a crazy journey. Can you tell us like what age did you actually start making music? Like actually like, I don't know, like hop into a studio and record a song?
Yeah, so I started writing when I was like 13. One day when I was a freshman in high school, the owner of DUMLET, Pat Walsh, hit me up. This is back when DUMLET was Simply Green Studios. He hit me up. He's like, yo, can you come film a music video for me? This is back when I did photography and videography. And I was like, yeah, sure, I would love to. Picks me up. We're on our way home from the video shoot. And I was like, yeah, like I rap a little bit. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I was like, but I've never rapped in front of anybody. And he was like, all right, tell me the beat. So I showed him the beat and he put it on and he was like, all right, rap. And I handed him the phone. I was like, do you want to just read it? He was like, no, you got to rap it. And I was like, all right, fuck. So I start rapping it and he was like, he stopped the beat and he was like, do you want to go record that tomorrow? And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, do you want to go like to a studio tomorrow and record that? And I was like, yeah. So we went to Shorefire Recording Studio in Long Branch and we recorded the song. I had like a great time. We were there all night, and that was my first time ever in a booth. And to hear like the progression from that song, which I think was made in like 2016 to now, is just like absolutely insane. And then to like watch both me and DUMLET like grow simultaneously side by side, and just like we're both always doing something. It's just like it's so fucking fun, because those are like some of my best friends and I can just go there, chill, record. Like they got me, I got them, and now I'm working for them. Like, and yeah, and they're helping me fucking. I wouldn't be shit without them. So shout out Pat Wall, shout out DUMLET.
Like I don't really know much about DUMLET, but I like from what I've seen on social media, it looks lit there. Like
Yeah,
Jersey pride. Nobody fucking talks about Jersey. Like let's
yeah,
go. I think there's so many like emerging artists coming from New Jersey.
yeah.
And would
That's
you
the
like
same.
say like that your music is, I think it's very performance worthy. Have you like had like certain performances like pre-COVID? And what would you like? And now, like, what's your like song that you just fucking want to like perform like right after COVID?
Easily Fade Away. Fade Away is like, I just want to get in front of a microphone and scream that fucking song, every word of that song. Yeah, I did. I've had a bunch of shows. I probably had like 15 shows pre-COVID. I sold out the indoor at the Stone Pony once. I've played there a handful of times. I played the House of Independence like 3 times. I played Lake House. I did a music festival in Pennsylvania for my friends. It was like a Moonlight Gathering Festival. That shit was sick. Um, what else have I was gonna actually this is like something that always pissed me off. I was actually gonna open at Starland Ballroom for Lil Mosey
Oh wow.
in April on the 3rd, and COVID fucking decided to knock on the door
Yeah.
and be like, give me that.
Oh
So
my
I mean,
gosh.
yeah, it's a bummer. It would have been a huge show, would have been a bunch of fun, but it's good because now I have music that when COVID's fucking, packed up,
Yeah,
when
fucking
that shit's out of
back
here.
to yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
when COVID's out of here and that show is back on, I'm gonna have a lot better material to present to them and present to that crowd, and like I'm gonna be able to better with this like hyper pop style stuff. I don't know. I would just like to go there and just stand out a little bit. That would definitely be something that I think would be fun, and that's why I was like, kind of upset that I missed that opportunity. But things come and go, and I think there's gonna definitely be a lot bigger, better opportunities to play.
There's definitely going to be countless opportunities for you in the future, especially when COVID
Thank you.
is over. I think it is performance worthy because of how like there's a catchiness to your lyrics, and but
Mm-hmm.
there's also like a crazy flow that's like addictive to listen to. What was your overall message with DID? Like what would you say is the theme of this album?
A lot of it has to do with, for one, I would say like mental health is a huge part of it. Just about me and like the shit that I go through and the emotions and like, the shit that I display that I don't usually, because like for me, like if you know me, um, I'm a very like I'm usually like like the goofball in the fucking room, like like class clown type shit. I'm always joking around, goofing off and shit, but then it's like you
Yeah,
don't know how somebody
hello.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you don't know how somebody is when they go home and they're in the
For
room
sure.
and like nobody's around. Like that's when people are their truest selves, and I wanted to bring that true self onto this album and be like, yo, like I can be on my cocky shit. I can be in my really fucking sad shit. I can be on my like angry hype shit. Like it's really just all about like that's another reason it's called Did. It's just like it's all that personality. It's every aspect of who I am as a person. And it's like, yo, like still alive is like here's how I think, when I'm fucking off it, when I'm like, chilling, rolling up with the homies, like polka dot pajamas. Here's who I am when I'm fucking pissed off and I'm hockey shit. Fade Away. Here's who I am when I'm like, vulnerable, emotional, and Wayside, like super in my bag. Um, yeah, so it's just like definitely the main message is just like about displaying emotions, experimenting, not being afraid to show who you are. And like if you like something and you want to bring your full personality into it, like do not be hesitant, because this is the first time that I've really been like, all right, I'm not going to do a single one of these songs for anybody else but me. I don't care how anybody reacts to these songs. Like even the single Won't Even Bother. Like if you listen to that song, like that is not a song that I've ever put out before. That is nothing like anything I've put out before. And I wanted to throw people off and be like, yo, like I'm not just going to make the music that I've been making because this is what you're expecting or this is what you want to hear. Like here's the music that I want to make. And like it or leave it. And people liked it. And it's been, like the most listened to song I have on Spotify so far. And it's helped the album a lot. And yeah, it's definitely been a fun song.
I think it was a dope choice as a single to drop
Mm-hmm.
first. Like, yo, like Aqua Aura, like new sound coming at you. Y'all not gonna be prepared for this shit.
Exactly.
And that's kind of like honestly, I'll be real with you. Like that was the first song I heard from you because I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
heard about you like until Bella started posting, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, like I was stunned because the the rapping, like I'm a big rap person. I like
Mm-hmm.
I just love rap. And when I heard the rapping, I was like, yeah. And then like all of a sudden I'm in my bag listening to this album. Like every song that I have been listening to sound different to me. When an album has a theme, I think it's even more effective in its message.
And we'll just be sitting there and it's just like, holy shit. Like, yo, we're doing this right now. Like we're 2 steps away from the top. If it weren't for Rob, that single wouldn't be the version that it is. That single wouldn't have a fucking beat. He produced that whole beat, start to fucking finish. Absolutely murdered that shit.
Yeah.
Him and Pat, I was like, yo, I need a beat. We were recording a project. It's called the Dumb Tape, biggest collaborative project to ever come out of New Jersey. It's coming very soon. Keep an eye out. There's a bunch of fucking artists. I met so many people that week. We're sitting there. It's like the end of the week. And I was just like, yo, I need a beat. Like, I need something crazy, crazy. And Rob's like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of tired. I don't know if I want to make a beat right now. We're just sitting there. He makes a beat. He's like, nah, I don't like it. I'm like, come on, like, make some shit. Like, I don't care. Because I know when Rob gets tired, he's like, yo, I'm done. I'm done. He's like, not right now. Because he knows you can't force it. And I respect the fuck out of that. And we all know we can't force it. Like, as an artist, it's never good to force it. And he was like, I don't want to force it. I don't want to force it. And then Pat came into the room. He was like, yeah, let's do it. So Pat started fucking with something. And then Rob was like, yup, no, I'm in the zone now. And then Rob started, and then together, I just watched them put that beat together in like 2 hours. And I'm just pacing around the room, writing over the beat, like as they're making it. And it's just like, it's literally like watching a building get built in a time lapse. It's the craziest fucking song I've ever done. And that is really like the most hardworking, yet laid back, but like vigorous workspace ever. Like they have every attribute that you would want in a work environment there. And it's like, it just feels like home.
That's like, what the independent world is like kind of representative in the music industry, because music industry can be so toxic, can be so like, oh, look at all this competition. Like there's no support when it comes to like different artists. Like artists are constantly just climbing on top of each other. But like when you're like in interviews like this, you really get the like meat of like what goes behind a song. You have a lyricist, you have all these producers, these engineers, they work their ass off, and you have to have that laid back attitude to do like this
100%,
to like let it flow naturally. All right, Aqua Aura, want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. And everyone go listen to DID on all streaming platforms. Follow Jack on all social media. You can also follow me. I'll leave that in the description. And signing off.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. Much love.